Okay, let's start. So now you have enrolled for the free Python training. Okay, so the name is for the training is Beginner to Python Pro. Today my name is Afzal Ansari and I'll be your trainer for this. And I can see there are lots of questions on like how many hours the training will be or how many days it will be. So it will be 2 months training for basic. In basic, you will learn how to install Python, what is interpreter, what are the data types, what are indentations, and much more. So let's start. So let me introduce myself properly to all of you. As I said, my name is Afzal Ansari. I have 8+ years of experience in IT industries. You can say I have worked for Reddit Mail, Bollywood Hangama, and much more. So the question arises, uh, okay, so here are my certifications which I have done. First, I have done CCNA, then I have done CCNP DevCore and SCore. DevCore stands for Developer Associate, that is the part of the DevNet certification. SCore is the part of security, CCI security certification, and VMware VCP. So your question arises, why Python? Means there are so many programming languages you can say like C, C++, Java, Go, Rust, so many. So why Python? So the first one is easy to learn and use. So when I say it's easy to learn and use, this means a lot. Python has a clear and concise syntax that is often compared to natural languages like English. This makes it much easier for beginners to pick up and learn than many other languages with more complex grammars or punctuations. Let's see. C. C, all you know is that it's a very popular language and one of the old languages. Then C++ came, then other languages came, then you can say Python also came. Okay, so the second thing is versatile. Python is a general purpose language, meaning it can be used for a wide variety of tasks. This includes web development, data science, machine learning, automation, you can say scripting, and much more. This makes it a valuable skill for people in many different fields. So, third point I will say it's powerful libraries and framework. As you all know, Python has a large libraries. Okay, so has a vast ecosystem. You can also say Python has a vast ecosystem of ready-made libraries and frameworks that can be used to build complex applications quickly and efficiently. So why this? This saves developers a lot of time and effort compared to starting from scratch. So fourth point, I will say large and active community. You all know very well that Python has the very large and active community of developers who are always willing to help each other. This means that there are plenty of resources available online, in person if you need help with anything. Fifth, I will say high demand in the job market. So if you search in Google for the demand Python, it's increasing day by day, not month, I'll say it's increasing day by day. So Python is one of the most in-demand programming language in the job market today. This means that there are plenty of opportunities available for Python developers and they can expect to command good salaries. This varies. So if I talk about salaries, this varies from country to country. Let's take an example. A country like India, salary varies from 15,000 to 2.5 lakh also. Depend on what they are getting, which company they are. And the last one, I will say it's fun and enjoyable to use. Many developer finds Python to be a fun and enjoyable language to use. This is partly due to its simplicity and elegance, but also because of the supportive and creative community that surrounds it. So in short, overall, I will say Python is a great choice for anyone who wants to learn a programming language. It's easy to learn, versatile, powerful, and in high demand. Whether you are a beginner or a seasoned developer, Python has something to offer to you. So I have some quick questions. So I will go with that, and then we will install Python, and then we will straightly proceed to the practical. So first of all, question arrives, what is a Python used for? So this is a very common question that if you are learning Python, so you should know that for what purpose you are learning. So the simple answer to this is Python is commonly used for developing websites and softwares, task automation, data analysis, and data visualization. Since it's relatively easy to learn, Python has been adopted by many non-programmers such as accountants and scientists for a variety of everyday tasks like organization, finance, etc., etc. The next most foremost question comes, why it is called Python? Means there can be n number of names, there can be any other names. Why it's called Python only? So the story comes from, okay, who designed Python? Guido van Rossum. So in short, we'll say Guido. So Guido was reading the published scripts from one of the famous shows in the late 1970s was Monty's Python Flying Circus. Might be you all have heard about that. It's a BBC comedy series. As I said, it's a late 1970s. So that the word Monty Python, that word came in mind. So Guido wants a unique name for his language and it should be short and quickly comes around your mouth. So he named Python and the full name came was Python programming language. Now third foremost question is what type of language is Python? Python is an interpreted object-oriented high-level programming language with dynamic semantics developed by Guido. So if in an interview, if might be you say you are getting asked what type of language is Python. So the simple answer to this is Python is an interpreted object-oriented high-level programming language. And when it was released in late 1991. So there are two things you should understand. Guido designed Python. It was developed by Python Foundation, not Guido. Guido designed Python. So there is a often we say gimmick. Who developed Python? People used to say Guido. No, Guido designed Python. You should always remember Guido designed Python and then Python development. It's an open source organization. Yeah. Okay. Now, question arrives, which industry uses Python most? So to be honest, I don't think so. I have to tell you, all the companies in the world, n number of companies you can say. If you take example of big company or a SME company or any company, all using Python. If you say in your, you can say in your mobile, in your PC, in your laptop, there is something related to Python. Tech startups, you can say. If you say Google, yeah, definitely Google use Python. If you say Intel, yeah, definitely Intel use Python. IBM, NASA, Pixar, Netflix, Facebook, JP Morgan, Spotify, n number of companies all use Python. So if you learn this Python, it will really help you a lot. Now, another question arrives. Can Python get you a job? Simple answer is yes. Having an in-depth understanding of Python can open the doors to a wide range of careers across many different industries with its versatility and increasingly high demand. Python programming knowledge is a quickly becoming a must-have skill for any aspiring programmers or data scientists. I will give you another short overview of Python. Okay, so for the chat, I will say, yeah, it's an hybrid language. Yeah, simple to automate. Yeah, automation. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So guys, you can message in chat. Yeah, definitely. I'll query to your answers. Okay. Once we'll do practical, I'll definitely answer your all queries. So just give me some time. Let me finish this theory part. Once the practical will be much more creative, you can say. Theory is something little bit boring, but you have to attend this. So when was the first appearance of Python programming language? It was in the late 1980s. Who created? Guido. Okay. Created design is one of the same. Designed by, created by Guido. Developed by Python Programming Foundation, you can say. Then you can say Guido started the implementation in 1989 and he worked on Python alone until 2018. This is the most important point you have to remember. He, till when he worked alone? Till 2018. When was the first release of Python? You can say that is version 1.0. It was in 1994. When Python first version released, it was in 1994. Guys, I request you all to mute your mic so there will be no disturbance. So once releasing Python version 1.1, and for the second release it was in 2000, name 2.0. In version 2.0, Guido added minor changes, not major. Okay, so this all to be remember when interviewer asks you question. When was the Python version released? When second version released? So first version was released 1994. Second was released in 2000, and in 2000, if sometimes interview asks you what were the changes, why means if 1.0 is working good, why we should launch another version of Python. So there was some bugs. Yeah, you can say there was some bugs. Guido releases 2.0, then with some new features, you can say minor features, not major, and collection as such as collection systems and comprehensions. Then in late 2008, the third version was released. Exactly, I don't know the month, but yeah, year I definitely know because I also don't remember which month he released, but yeah, in it was released. Yeah, but in 2008, Python 3.0 was in, and till now we are working on Python 3.0. Okay, So first version was released in 1994, second was released in 2000, third was released in 2008. Um, okay, so here you can see the index of TOP. So in Jan 2023, yeah, you can say the last year, Python was the first choice, and till now in 2014, Python is the first choice. So you can understand the uh, ranking. So most people prefers Python. Earlier it was C, C++. Acha, one more question arise. Which language is the fastest language? So the quick answer is C. C is system interpreted language. So definitely it's the fastest, but Python is easy to use. Guys, I request you all to mute your mics. Okay. So one more thing we will check who invented Python. So here you can check Guido van Rossum invented Python. Then you can definitely all Google it. When Python was invented, conceived in late 1980s, but it was already designed in 1970. Okay, late 70s you can say. If we say salary, so let's check. So as I said, it varies by country to country. An average developer salary is $78,000 a year. In India, maybe it's different, and in overseas, in Middle East, in Western countries, in Asian countries, it will be different. Now we will install Python, we will install Visual Studio Code, and we will understand how to install Python, how to install Visual Studio Code, what it's, and we will also install PyCharm. We will understand what's the difference between PyCharm and Visual Studio Code. This is the official website of Python, and it's www.python.org. There in the menu tab, you will see a download button. So currently, which version is the latest? 3.12. When it was released? in last 2 months. Here you can see different many versions, which is I can see 3.8, 3.9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What they are, exactly what they are. And here you can see maintenance release, security, bug fix, first release, end of support, release schedule, etc. etc. The simple answer to this is these are the version numbers of Python. As I said, Python 1.0, then in 2000 it was released 2.0, in 2008 it was 3.0. So, but there are some minor releases also that defines bug fixing, security, maintenance, etc. So here let's suppose take 3.10 as an active version of Python. So it is the latest stable release. Then something happened in 3.10 and there was a flaw, you can say a bug. So they released 3.11 and they name that as a bug fix. So definitely in 3.10 there will be some bugs that was fixed in 3.11. Now in 3.11 definitely there will be some bugs. So that was they released 3.12. So what is the latest stable release of Python? It is 3.12 and 3.13 is pre-release. And when it will be released, you can see here date, it is 24/10/01. And what are the support times? So every release comes with a support period. For example, you buy a refrigerator. Let's take an example, you buy an LG refrigerator. It comes with a limited time of support, with an end of life value. It comes with certain BEEE rating and many much more features you can say. Same here also in Python. First release was 2000. Let's take an example of 3.12. First release was in October and when it will end of support, that is 2028. It is same like that you get a 10 years of compressor warranty on refrigerator. After 10 years, company will say, I raise hands up, I will not support to you. Either you have to upgrade to 3.13. Okay, just a second. Guys, I'll answer to your queries. Let me finish first. I will show you for, okay. So here is a question. How do I update my Python that downloading another one? Exactly, I didn't understand what you are trying to say. Could you please elaborate your queries? You have a version. Let's take an example 3.12. Let's take an example 3.10 and you want to migrate to 3.12. Is it right? Okay. Okay. So I will do a practical of this and I'll show you. The best thing will be this. Okay. So let's read all these things. Then we will definitely start. First, we will install Python and then we will definitely will keep a practical for how to upgrade, what is PIP, how to install packages and all. Everything will be explained. Okay. So let's take an example now. Just a second, guys. Okay, let's start again. So now the question arrives, where we can install Python? Yeah, definitely. If you go to the download section, okay, sorry, we are already in download section. If we check, we can install Python on different OS itself. It's written on the website. We can install on Windows. we can install on Linux, we can install on macOS, and there are many other platforms. Let's see. So these are the some different kinds of things which really we don't need to understand now, but yeah, definitely we will go through it on later. So currently, if an interviewer asks you on which platform we can install Python, so the answer should be that we can install on many platforms, but the three most popular platforms are Windows, Linux, and Mac. Okay, so let's download it. Now here you will see that there are two options. One is simple one, install now, and it that system will do everything for you. You don't have to do anything. It will install in by default folder that is in your you can say the path over here. It will install basic things. It will create shortcuts and etc. But if you want to do any customization, like you want to install Python on any separate folder or different folder or any in different directory, you can say, or anywhere else. Okay, so you can use that. If you need admin privileges, like let's say here I have all the admin privileges, so I don't think so I have to take this. But if you are using installing Python as a user, let's take an example. In your company, if you are installing a Python as a user, not the admin. So here you have to take admin privileges. It will ask you for definitely username and password. You just give it and you can install. So we will basic installation we will do. Will not go for customization. Yeah, but if you want to check, you can check it. Just it's simple. What you have to install? Pip, pickle, test suite, file launcher. Definitely we have to install all the things. That's fine. Let's take an example. You don't want to install documentation of Python. You don't want to install pip with the Python installation. You can simply untick and install it. But no, everyone requires pip as if you are using Python. So pip is the Python package manager. Simple in simple words, you can say. So we will do installation, simple installation, and install it. Okay. We install Python, but where we can check if Python is installed or not. So the answer is in your command line terminal. Simply we will type Python. Okay, so there are often questions comes, what if we type Python and what if we type Python 3? So the answer is just check by yourself. With nothing we get. Let's type Python 3. Okay, to be guessed, it needs to be installed, I think so, via this via micro store manager. It's not letting me to install it directly. One more thing I want to mention over here, most popular things like in the updated release of Windows, you can install most programming languages, uh, social media applications from Microsoft Store only. Let's if earlier if we want to download WhatsApp, we have to go to web WhatsApp and all and have to download. Now what? Microsoft has done, you can install it from his Microsoft Store only. Similarly, like I have to type WhatsApp and you can check I can install over here. Similarly, if I want to install Telegram, yeah, from here only I can install. Okay, it's downloaded. We'll open it. Now let's check if we type Python. Yeah, it's came. And again, I will tell you what it's. If we type Python 3, let's check what will happen. It will reflect the same. Now, earlier what happens, like if you have installed two Python versions, let's take an example. You have installed Python 2 and you have also installed Python 3. So what happened when you type Python, now it's showing Python 3.12 only. But let's assume that you have installed two versions of Python, that is Python 2 and Python 3. So when you type Python, it will show you Python 2.x version. And when you type Python 3, it will show you Python 3 version. Why I am getting why I'm not getting error if you I type Python? Because now all the major platforms, whether it's Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, or any, all are supporting Python 3 only. And definitely Python 2 is very old version. So now almost no one is using. But yeah, in some companies, still some of the applications are running on Python 2. So yeah, definitely they are supporting it. But what, like, taken an example, is there any end of life for Python 2? Let's check. Yeah, the simple answer is Python 2 is already end of life. No one is using Python 2. But due to some applications, such as in, you can say, uh, companies like Netflix, Google, yeah, there are some of their applications which are running in Python 2. So still there are support, but officially it's end of life. Okay. So your question arrives, what is this exactly? When I type Python or Python 3, something opens in my command line. Okay. So what exactly it's called? It's called REPL. The meaning of REPL is read, evaluate, print, loop. REPL. Okay. So if I want to exit from this REPL, is it possible? Yes, you can. If you type over here ping or something like general things you type in CMD, no, it will not work. Like taken an example, if I want to ping some IPs, etc., it will give you error because you are in the Python shell, or in short, you can say you are in the REPL. So you have to exit from this, and to exit, whether exit works, no. Here is showing some exit or control Z plus to return. Let's take, no, it's not work. If you type exit this, yeah, it's work. So there is one more command to exit, that is quit. I often use quit and I recommend you. You can use exit also, but quit is the more popular than exit. Okay. So now you are in the your command line. You can say here from here you can ping, you can check directory, etc. But it will not work if you are in the REPL mode. Like if I type, so it will give you some action built-in function directory. Okay. So why it's didn't give in it's not an error, it's log. You can say that dir directory is the inbuilt function of the Python. So let's suppose type some trace route. Okay. So traceroute is the command of this CLI, command prompt. Okay, CMD. But in Python it will not work. It will give you an error because it's not, Python doesn't understand what's traceroute. Okay. uh, Now we will install Visual Studio. So we were talking about what Visual Studio, what exactly it is. So let's go for it. So first of all, I will talk to you about Visual Studio Code. Short Visual Studio Code shortly says VS Code. All VS Code says it's developed by Microsoft and developed for most support platforms, you can say Windows, Linux, and macOS. Why Visual Studio Code? Because earlier, if you want to, like, if you are a programmer and if you have to write big codes, so you face lots of difficulties. You will not understand what exactly how code will perform. If you want to run, you cannot run everything from REPL. You can say if you want to run everything from this REPL, you cannot do. So you need a good editor. So Microsoft built this Visual Studio. It's a code editor and it's one of the best for code editing. And if you talk about popularity, popular. It's commonly popular. And just a second, guys. Okay, side by side, we will also install another code editor. You can say it's PyCharm. It's also popular and best. You can use anything. If you want to use uh, any other code code editor, yeah, definitely you can use. But I recommend two things, that are PyCharm and Visual Studio. Okay, in Visual Studio also there is community version, you can say, and one is for professional. So yeah, definitely go for community version, which is free. And in PyCharm also there are two types of releases. One is for professional and one is community. Community is free for lifetime. These are some license agreements. Just accept it and install it. So these are the pre-check things, which if you install new VS Code, you have to one time you have to do this. If you want to customize your colors and supports and settings or anything else, you can customize or just simply mark done. It will okay. So I don't need to do any customizations or something. So that's why I haven't done. Okay, PyCharm is also downloaded. Let's install it. Okay, we install both. So now there is often questions which one is the good one. I should use VS Code or PyCharm for programming. So I will recommend both, but PyCharm is more advanced, you can say, as compared to VS Code. If you if I say more advanced, that means a lot that I will show you when we will do practical. Yeah, Notepad. Okay, RAS. Yeah, Notepad plus plus is a good thing, but I don't recommend Notepad plus plus for coding. Like if you let's take in an example, there is an application of LMS, Library Management System. Okay, so Notepad plus plus won't work if you face a big issue or like your code is not running. There you have somehow you have to use PyCharm because Anaconda, yeah, there are different IDs you can install it, but I personally recommend VS Code and PyCharm. And if you say in VS Code and PyCharm, I mostly recommend PyCharm. Yeah, VS Code is definitely good. I'm not saying that it's not good. Yeah, both are okay. But as per my comparison, as I have used since in last years, I recommend PyCharm more. Okay. So first we will use VS Code, then we will go for PyCharm. Yeah, PyCharm is free. PyCharm and VS Code both comes with the community edition, guys. This I have to tell you that PyCharm and VS Code are paid also and free also. Free ones comes as a community edition that is lifetime free. So yeah, both you can use. PyCharm Community Edition at I have recently shown you. Let me once more. I have to show you that. When you go over here, first you see PyCharm Professional. That is a free 30-day trial. You don't have to install this one. Yeah, definitely professional one having more features than community edition. Yeah, but community edition is not that you don't have to use. It's having less certain. No, it's a very good editor IDE you will say to use. So this one is the free built-in and open source. When you say open source, you can modify this PyCharm source code also to your as per your convenience things because it's an open source. Yeah, but definitely professional one you cannot modify because it's a licensed version. So with community version you can do anything, and I recommend this for what does it mean by open source. So okay, so let me tell you a short story on licensing part. So let's open a notepad. Let's take an example. You develop a software, like you develop a CMS, okay, and you are selling it. So let's take an example. You sell to 10 companies. Now you also have a version. Okay, let me clear you. That is the pro version CMS. CMS having pro version, CMS having free version. Okay. Pro you sell for $1,000. Let's take an example. For $1,000 you sell, and free one is the free for lifetime. Okay. Now definitely this CMS having source code that is available on GitHub. But which source code? That is the free one. This is available on GitHub, and you have signed a Creative Commons license for it. And guys, here I will not say what is Creative Commons license or GPL license or anything. You can Google it for this. So you have signed a license and agreement for this, and in that it's mentioned that this application is free. So, application is free to use and modification. So now when I say free, and it's the codes are available in GitHub or anywhere we have kept, and it's free to modification, that means you can modify the source code and you can run as per your needs. Let's take an example of uh, like OpenVPN. No, I think so. OpenVPN having. Okay, yeah, they provide source code. What OpenVPN does, it provides a VPN connectivity from one location to another location. Let's take an example. You have an office, one is in Middle East and one is in Western countries, and you sits in India. Okay, so you want access to the both locations, the Middle East office and in America one. You can say you have an office in Canada, so you need access to Canada also, Canada office also, and that Middle East office also. So with OpenVPN, you done everything. But the problem is a corporate or a commercial one don't like this word open VPN or don't like this logo open VPN. It's to be honest, it's sounding like they think like it's sounding like a chip. So what open VPN does, they will share you their code. Okay, it's listed on GitHub or in SourceForge also or in GitLab also. What developer does, he takes all the source code, modify it with their company name, with their you can say anything they required, like the GUI or anything they required, they modify and they provide to their company. Okay, so this is the difference between open source. Open source you can modify. Now let's take an example Python. Instead of OpenVPN, we will take another example of Python. Python is an open source. You can modify as per your need. So every company keeps one open source code. Even PyCharm, like for example, I'll talk with the basic thing. Like if you need an editor, but on that the logo should be your company. So you paid some amount the PyCharm and you said that I will use your IDE for our internal company programming, but the logo will yeah, they will charge you if it's free open source. There are some license for where you sign if you want to change logo, there you have to pay some amount. And there are some files that there are some codes that it's 100% free. You can modify anything whichever you want. It depends which license you have attached to your application. So we'll not talk about that much more because that's not related to our learning. Yeah. So now it's time to write our very first code. What we will do, we will create a folder on desktop and we will open it in a VS Code. Okay, VS Code says you have asked to open a folder. But do you trust this? Because what happens, this is just a security check. If you trust this folder, yes, or if you don't trust, say no. Now we will write our very first program. So that is hello.py. Okay. When you install Python and you have to install interpreter also from this is a Microsoft native. So you have to install it. Here you can say you can select one or more interpreter for your code. This means like if you have Python version 3.10, you have 3.11 or you have 3.8, you can select interpreter and then you can run your code. Like you have written code in, let's take an example. You have written code in 3.8 and you want to test in, but now current version is running 3.12, but you have to test in 3.8. So you can, with the help of with this VS code, you can test that. So we will write our very first program, that is print. If I check that if I type PRI, it gives me some suggestions, that is print. So that's why I recommend you, I no longer Yeah, just give me 1 second. Let me zoom in this. So I some are watching from mobile. So yeah, definitely it will be showing very smaller. So let me zoom it. So you from view appearance, and there will be a zoom command option. Uh, let- I hope you're able to see my screen now properly. If you please comment yes in. Okay. So let's start now. So we were writing our very first code, that is print. So when you type P, you see you it gives some suggestions that print, pass, top, property, pending, permission error, process, some packages, path. So what are they? So yeah, that is the features. You can say one of the feature of VS Code and PyCharm. Yeah, PyCharm also, that when you type, it gives you suggestion. Let's take an example. If when I want to type like if if I want to import a module, so yeah, if import like in is it id import integer, yeah, it gives all the examples, all the possible examples. So that's why I like VS Code and PyCharm both. So now we write our first code print in Python. If you want to, just a second, guys, just a second. So when you want to print anything, command or any, you can say you want to print like the most popular code, you can say that is hello world. Now here you can say that is play pause button, you can say from where you can run Python 5. So if we run, see here it's executing hello world. You can say, you can see. So how it's executing? It's executing via our Python application which we installed earlier, and the path was exact the same path which was the installation path. From here, it's taking application and running. This is the path of our file which we made hello.py. If we want to check, you can check from here. In desktop, we created a folder called Python, and there we created a file that is hello file. What extension Python uses? That is .py extension. Obviously, it stands for .py stands for Python. It's a bit common, understandable. So now, if we check what is print, What is hello world? Why I use this double quoted comma inverted? Why I use this parenthesis? So there is a lots of questions over here. uh, okay, yeah, Fontem, you can go on, you can ask. Okay, you did the same and you got an error, command not found. So might be you have not follow all these steps to run the code. To run the code, let me clear you one more time. Let me tell you, to run the code, first thing is that you need to install Python. That we install from, first we try to install from uh, browser, from official Python website. Then we saw that we have to install it from, in Windows we have to install it from Microsoft Store. We have installed that. Third, we install IDE, that in short you can say code editor. Most people say is code editor. I don't know in your country what you say, but yeah, in our country we mostly say it's code editor. Another name is IDE also. So that you have to install. Third, you have to install this extension, like here we have installed. So if you want another, like for example, if you want to install IntelliSense Python from, there are different things. Let's take in an example, you installed C and you want to let me complete it. If you want to practice for C, so you have to install C, this extension, then you can run it. For example, if you are working on a Docker, so you have to install Docker from here. If you want to working on Copilot, you have to install Copilot. If you are, let's take an example, you are you are working on Terraform, so you have to install Terraform. Otherwise, it will not work properly. It will work. Let me clear you one thing. It will work, but it will not work properly as per this. Okay, so I request you guys mute your mic, please. Okay. After that, the one more problem came. Like, let's take an example. You created, just double clicking on this tab, you created a file. This is the in-memory file. It is not saved in your uh, computer. Let's take an example. Okay. Here I have selected Python. Okay. Same programming code I will copy and paste over here. If I want to run, will I able to run it? You can comment your answers here. This is the file which is not saved in your computer, but I have to run it. Will it be able to run? Will it be successfully run, or it will throw an error? Yeah, definitely it will not run because it's not saved. Let me show you. It will ask you to save it first and then install, then run it, sorry. Or you can use your REPL. Earlier I have told you that you can use the REPL. If you don't want to save the file and you want to run it, yeah, you can use definitely REPL. So let me show you. We entered in REPL and same code we will copy and paste and check. Okay, so you got the output over here. Hello world. And here you don't need to save it. So yeah, for basic things you can use REPL, like Python work as a calculator. I haven't told you, yeah, but Python work as a calculator. If you want to calculate 5 plus 3, enter it, you will get 8. If you want certain big numbers like this plus this, yeah, Python does in milliseconds, you can say. Okay. Sorry guys, I'll be back. So now we will start it again. Okay. So quantum is another question. Uh, yeah, you can use PyCharm also. Yeah, definitely. There is will be no issue. Python. What I will do now, next lecture that is tomorrow, I will take on PyCharm, so you will understand the difference between VS Code. Okay, if I'll say about difference, so 80 to 90% both are same. The 10% is like PyCharm is more advanced in thinking. So here I cannot show you because it's a one line of code. But if you write certain like for example 100 lines of code, so PyCharm is more advanced, suggesting that what you have to write as compared to VS Code. Okay, so yeah, definitely both are same, but PyCharm is you can say little bit more advanced than VS Code. Nothing else. Both are very good. So let's talk about these things. Okay, if you select it, it will show you. Let me close you all these things. Now let's back to our code. What is print? Print is an inbuilt function of Python. Python, sorry. Python having some inbuilt functions, uh, some extra functions you can say, some you can create by your own. That is definitely we are going to understand in our further lectures. We are going what we are I'll take. So for now, you just understand print is an inbuilt function. And to print certain things, whether it's a string or numeric value or any other things, you need to use parentheses, open and close parentheses. Simply, let me show you. Print, if you want to simply use print, it will give you error. Okay, it will not give you because it's already saved. So let's take an example. If you want to print like this course is free. If you want to show to your user this course is free, will you able to print this? No, definitely not. It will show you an error because Python doesn't understand what it is written. It will show you invalid syntax. But if you use a command that is print with open, if you want to print anything, you have to use parenthesis, open close parenthesis, and that if you use simply this, it will again give you an error. If you see here only it's given error. This is not a defined balance, undefined variable. Python doesn't understand what it is exactly. So here we will again run and check. So it's giving invalid syntax, or also it's suggesting that you are using a print function, but you forget a comma. The screen share is off again. Hmm, just a second. Guys, you able to see my screen because I think screen is okay. So
Yeah, we are able to.
Arnold, yeah, Arnold, I will say that close the meeting and rejoin it. This might save your problem. So we will use something this. Now if you see that error is gone and we can successfully print. Let me close it so if you will understand more clearly. Okay, see, we able to print it. But is it like that I can use this only? No, there are different types of things that we can use it. This you have written in double quote. Okay, so is it I have to write in double quote only? No, it's not like that. You can write in double quote, single quote, triple quote, but that depends on the situation. Most probably, developer use double quote. Sometimes they use single quote. That depends on the situation. Okay, if we talk about, let's take an example. We have a situation where we want to highlight course name. Let's take an example. This Python code is awesome. Okay, so we want to highlight this Python. We highlighted via double quote. Let me insert in the print. Will it work? If we say here it's given an error and it says, okay, let's run and check. See, it given an error. So Raj, it will not work because you cannot use like this. So this is not the good practice which I am telling you. Yeah, but you can use definitely this. See, now it will work properly. Okay, that Python is in double quote, which we want to highlight, and we haven't got any error. Similarly, let's take an example that there is a case where I want to use single quote, double quote, and triple quote also. In Python, there is a triple quote. I'll tell you what exactly you is. So you can write a string in three types of code. That is, let's take an example that here it's mentioned you want to write this code in 2 lines. Okay. Now it's giving in an error because like this. So in this situation, what you can do, just make it triple quote. If you want to write a multi-line code, you have to use, if you want to write a multi-line string, not code, sorry, my mistake, you have to use triple quote. Okay. And if your code is in single line, okay, here also you can use in single line, it will not give you error. But if you want to write a code in single line, why should I use triple quote? Instead of that, I'll use single quote, double quote, or anything if it's in a single line. So let me, it's back. Let me do it same. Okay, it's working. Now we will talk about comments. Okay, what we will do, we will check the same function on PyCharm also. Give me a sec. Instead of will creating new project, we will open because we already created one. So open and see as compared to VS Code, it's having more feature. You can say you get a terminal. In VS Code also you get terminal, but it's more convenience in PyCharm. So simply once we open our project, we have to click over here and then we have to new. Then here it shows Python file, HTML file. That is more convenient. If you say that is more easy, understandable. If you want to create a file over here, if I want to create like taken an example, I want to create a file. Okay, new file. It will tell you write name. Let's take in an example. I'll write a name. Now I have to mention the file name .py. Now it's a Python file. If I okay, here it's also created because the project is open on both. But if I want to create a new Python file, simply new, and then I'll select Python file, just name it name to enter. Okay, so PyCharm is more better than VS Code in some cases, not always. Yeah, in some cases, but yeah, VS Code also having some new features. You can say. Now, this is the end of our today's class, guys. We understand, let me recall everything. We understand why Python is, why to learn Python, what salaries we get, that depends on every country basis, who invented Python, when was first version released, when was second release, third release, what is the stable release of the Python version, what are the two famous IDEs for editing codes, and we write our first code, that is hello world. Now it's time for Q&A. You can ask questions and I'll be glad to answer your questions. Yeah, definitely. This recording will go on YouTube, so you will definitely n number of times watch. We will share you our link. That is, you can in on YouTube you can type CDP networks. It will show you our page. Fontem, I didn't understand your question. Everything is understood. I created a file, but I didn't have a box to write on it. I didn't understand the meaning of box means like required space or something. Yeah, definitely, Ninath. Coding syntax change between Python 2 and 3. There are some major changes you can say in Python 2 and 3. So definitely, if you are in production, if you have code written in Python 2, there are some tools you can say Python 2 to 3, which you can run to convert it in 3 and run it. But I don't recommend it all. It's I recommend it for testing purposes because sometimes, often, what happens when you use libraries like this, and if it's not run, it can crash your code application. Shall we have the PyCharm software link? It's simply if you type in Google PyCharm, you will get it. PyCharm download. The first one came, it's officially, company name is JetBrains. I don't know why I can't use an audio. I have to start writing my code in this. Okay, simple. You can use like you can start Python, PyCharm. What I recommend is I'll show you. Instead of opening a project from over here, let's take an example. Just if you want to create a new file, okay? Yeah, understood your question. So let me tell you. What I have done in starting is I'll tell you you have to be do like this. You can do from here also, no issues. You can start new file, new project and show your project's path. Let's take an example. I'll save in desktop. Okay. And the project name will be my first project. Create. So here you can see we get a folder. Now, if you want to create a new file and run it, just simply right click on it. So you get some basic configs files and all. These are the files. Sorry guys, these are the files which PyCharm creates. Okay, so you don't need to worry about all these things. So simply you have to go right click on the this my first project new and then Python file and then name it first code, enter. Okay, so here you will get your code. If it's not saved in your file, again I am saying you like you create like you in VS Code. Let me show you. Like here you opened a new tab and here you write selected language as a Python. Okay, you have to select. So this is the you can say one of the benefit in VS Code which we can see in PyCharm. You cannot create a new file in PyCharm. Open in short, you can say you cannot open in memory only view in PyCharm. As compared to VS Code, we can use this memory only view. We can write here code or print that is hello, and but this we cannot run it. Okay, we cannot run. We have to save it. But what happens in PyCharm? PyCharm, you have to create your file first, then only you can code. So let's take an example. If I want to create a new file, let's take a new file. Okay, sorry, it's in spelling mistake. Let me rename it. Okay, now I'll write my first code. This is the exact error you are facing. Contem. This is the exact error you are facing. Okay, this is because you have created a project and you are facing an issue. So instead of this, you can simply do like this. Let me show you. You open another project. You haven't faced any issue. Why? Because of you created a project and a project. Okay, so let me clear you in PyCharm. If you create a project from over here, you need to add some basic things, that is the class and all, that we cannot do in uh, on a starting lecture, because you don't know what is class, what is function exactly. So we cannot use that. If you use simply this project, so this project having certain files, IDE, virtual environment, you don't know what is exactly virtual environment is. So that's why it was giving an error. Okay, if you see that virtual environment having certain file, what are they? You don't know. So that's why I say, if you want to use PyCharm in your early stage, create a folder over here, then start. Let's take an example. Let's make it new folder only. Okay. And then create a new file, or if you create your folder over here, you can use, you create new file. You don't need to do that. Just so open that's new folder again, and then okay. And then simply go and create a new Python file, name it hello, and then start. It will not give you error. See, it's not giving error now. Why? Because we haven't created it from here. It's an outside project. Okay. So when you use PyCharm, so that's why first of all we will use VS Code, and then we will go to PyCharm. Okay. When our code will be lengthy, when it will be 100 lines of code, 50 lines of code, that time we will use PyCharm. That will be more suitable. But for training purpose, we will use VS Code, because it's very easy to understand. Okay, so guys, today's class is over. uh, Again I will say, if you have any doubts, do ask me. So uh, for training or for beginner or starting, I will say VS Code is the best. And if you want to test anything, the simple thing is that you use REPL. REPL is very good thing. Like if you want to write a command, let's take an example. Same command we will check, that you want to run print hello world. Okay, but you don't know whether it will be a proper code or not. So simply just go to REPL and paste it and enter. If it gives the output, that means your code is correct. Let's take an example. I miss double quote at the end. So here it's showing me syntax error, because it's not a valid syntax. Okay, so I understand from REPL that it's a wrong thing. So if I want to check anything like what's 2 plus 5, let's take a basic example. If we write over here, will it give the output? Let's check. It didn't give any output. Why? Because we haven't called print function over here. Python don't know. Python knows exactly that 2 plus 5 is 7, but you haven't mentioned to print in your console, in your terminal. But again, this is the console only. You are in Python console. If you in shortly we say it's a Python console. Okay, so you are on console, that's why it's giving me output. But here if you want output, so you have to mention certain things. You have to mention print function, that then only it will print the output of it. Okay, so that we will go on in next lecture.